We are good to go. I'm just gonna check some audio settings. I done messed up. I did not give myself enough time to kick off this episode. I think I meant to add another 10 minutes, but it's all good. Getting things sorted out as I'm speaking now. That looks good. I think we're ready to rock and roll. Welcome to Unmuzzled Chat. Right out the gate, I freaking appreciate you guys. Let's do what we can to share this messages with today's message with everyone we know. I don't know what it is, the cognitive disconnect, dissonance that is taking place. Let's stop this right here, folks. No more of this. Why are we getting in line with a simple but wrong answer? And very few are willing to go on the path of a complex but right answer. It's just this right here, the herd mentality of comforting lies versus unpleasant truths. How is this so alive and well today? I get topics have been so polarized, so weaponized to make this more, let's say, attractive. But that being said, gosh dang, there's so much information and it is such a gift. It's such a blessing. All these specialists, doctors, scientists, data crunchers, researchers, actual journalists. We can't deny all the information that's coming out to our own detriment. It actually goes to show that there is an evil in this life, in this world we live in. And denying that evil is not making it any less true. And who ultimately is going to suffer from that level of ignorance? We're hurting ourselves. We're hurting our loved ones. And the main topic for today is honing in on information that could breathe light to the reality of the warfare and the types of warfare we're dealing with, but more importantly, on an individual basis, how it is diminishing our light, how it's having negative neurological impacts, dimming our light, our ability to even function in this life. Now, I missed you guys. I wish I had time to make an appearance yesterday, but life does happen. And shoot, I'll just give you a quick spiel. Listed an old vehicle sitting on the property, got it out, but the point I want to make is just even the sheer volume of scammers reaching out to me on a personal level. It was eye-opening on a whole other level as to how evil they don't care about us. It's easy to dismiss evil doers because we're not them. We're not doing that. We're not living a life like that. So we're not properly acknowledging the threats all around. That being said, let's hear this clip. Very well done. We're going to play a couple clips queued up here. 3 clips. And then I want to dive into Watch the Water from the Stu Peters Network. And he has Dr. Artis on, just discussing all his findings. And it goes beyond our water and more threats that are diminishing our light. So with that information, I am very excited because I want the best version of you out there. We need that. We got to stop the path we're currently on. I mean, this is just one angle. So with that being said, let's play this first clip.
Let's get all the facts on the table. Coronavirus, COVID-19, the whole thing was premeditated. It was murder. It was active terrorism.
We have the receipts.
By a state against the world. Let's call it what it is.
Yes.
And let's not pretend like maybe there's a more complex explanation for, I don't know, the facts. And the facts are, here's the bad news. For 58 years, the United States, the UK, in collaboration with researchers around the world, planned to use coronavirus to instill the most tyrannical reform of society that this generation has ever seen. And they did it purely premeditated to make sure that we were cowed into submission. And the bad news for them is there's a lot of people that didn't take the knee.
It's just incredible when you start going through the dates, and maybe just take us back to some of these dates, 1965, 1967, 1990,
yes,
where these events, and when you do it, it's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. And again, the beautiful thing about your work in Pandemic 2 is that there was no emotion, there was no opinion, it was all facts. It was published documents where you can literally show, and as you walk us right up to 02 and right us up to 2020, you literally have specific mentions about exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That document what you just said, because a lot of people will hear what you just said and be like, okay, here's another one who's making these claims, but you can document every single thing you're saying.
Well, and not only can I, in the EU Parliament speech, I actually put every single reference.
What he just described, a lot of people would rather just do this and dismiss anyone that's standing here or right here. Because the group's over here, right? No, that's what the talking heads have been too effective in fooling us over. Almost wrapped up.
And there's not a single thing I said that's not referenced with the source document behind it. So you can read it. Do it yourself. Go read it. Read the document. Draw a different conclusion.
That's awesome. I look forward to actually checking out this Pandemic 2 that was brought up, spoke out right there. This is a powerful one. Short, 56 seconds. Let's play this.
Listen to this.
I would like to reduce the number of people on the planet because there's too many of us.
That was Jane Goodall. She works with the World Economic Forum. She got a knighthood and all sorts of awards for her humanitarian work. And you know who else received the knighthood?
Shows the level of evil we're dealing with and what positions of power they've gained in the world currently today.
Jimmy Savile. Let's keep going.
The world today has 6.8 billion people.
That freak.
Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
That was Bill Gates. Also,
can we even fathom through health services and vaccinations? You kidding me? Lowering the world there's nothing loving, there's nothing health oriented that would lead to that type of genocide. That's a weapon under the guise of services. And we're taking this war propaganda hook, line, and sinker. Well, too many of us. I know you guys get it, but we gotta challenge ourselves in getting this information. Hopefully this information is the right combination to help open the eyes to what really is going on to some people that just haven't been willing up to this point.
a regular of the World Economic Forum. They gave him the Medal of Freedom, and he's also a doctor now, and he wants to inoculate the entire planet. Let's just be honest with each other. These people want to get rid of us, enslave the strong ones and remove the useless eaters. And if they believe that humans are so bad and we need to depopulate, how about you show your great leadership skills and start with yourself?
Great point. Yes, please. 2024, we take back our yes. Well, we're about 2025. How crazy is that? Now, this one here might offend people, but it is very well said. And yes, the truth can hurt, but does not make it any less true. And what she states in the end is very powerful, and it's crucial that we're not afraid to speak clearly, boldly, on the truth. Are you freaking kidding me? We can acknowledge people's stances. I look forward to personally doing better and more. I don't want to say master the art of communication, because I don't believe any of us will technically master it. We might near a master level with a particular individual, special someone in our life, get more proficient and efficient, but you can't apply that same level of communication to everyone. It's got to be a unique connection. So it's a forever work, but I love it. Let's hear what this very well educated woman has to say.
I want to talk to you guys about why 2021 and the vaccine push was so successful. Basically, before I start this video, for any of the simpletons that come onto my page, I have a bachelor's in science. My major was molecular biology and biochemistry, and this is why I basically didn't take the you-know-what. But let me show you in case you call my bluff. There it is. There's my degree, full picture, just so you don't think it is photoshopped. If we look at the 2021 Vax push and how they organized it, they now have data on you and what you're willing to give up in order to get you-know-what. The first wave was voluntary. It was all based on propaganda and how easily you fell for it. They didn't take anything away from you. Second wave, they took away your entertainment, including restaurants, concerts, and travel. Third wave was they offered you $100 or hamburgers and fries for your autonomy. And then finally, they went after people who didn't want any of that, and they wanted to see if you're willing to lose your job or keep your bodily autonomy. Now, what you're going to find surprising, if you look across all of the data that's available on months and how many people got the you-know-what during each stage, 50% of you did it voluntarily. 50% of you have no critical thinking skills. Sad. You never asked any questions. You just did what the TV and the mainstream media told you. That's the sad part.
She's not wrong.
20% did it for basically food and entertainment. You wanted to go to restaurants because you're too lazy to cook at home. You're too lazy to have your friends over for a beer. That is the honest truth. And then the last push was actually the smallest for work. This excludes the medical field where the provisions are still and the mandates are still on there. God. Now, ask yourself this. Why should the government care if you have no moral standards and you're not aiming to achieve to be the best person that you can be on this planet?
That's a good question.
Why should they care? And you want to know why 2020 was so successful? Because all they told you to be a hero was to stay home and be lazy. And you finally got your hero status, right? Doesn't take much. And then what was the second step to being a hero? Getting an experimental something. And you know what's really weird? I looked into the CEO, Pfizer CEO. The guy has a PhD in veterinary sciences. Veterinary sciences, right? But you fell for the propaganda. And then they use that 50% to turn on the rest of the people to try and do a push. So now ask yourself, if you're too lazy to actually make a change in your own life and in your own community, why should the government take care of you? Why should the government care? And this is why we're in the mess that we're in. It has to start from within here for the change in order to make a difference in the world.
Oh, that's kind of a mic drop right there in the end. I'm not going to lie. Once again, yes, the truth can hurt, but does not make it any less true. Now, I'm not doing too good over here. It feels like something's going on with my body. And when I really hone in on it, you can chalk me up to be conspiracy whack, whatever. I love all the names. Throw all the names. Bring them. I love it. But it's having to do with my nasal cavity. Now, what does it have to do with you? Sound the alarm, bringing attention to all of our health. Well, when I flew back from the funeral I recently attended, by the end of that flight, the back of my nose was burning, and it really hasn't gone away since. And the interesting thing, I have plenty of pictures, even video, there were layers to these chemtrails. They're not contrails. There's a distinction. Watch our previous episode, the Frankenskies episode. It gives you more than enough, okay? They're spraying us, and they're very damning things. And these chemtrails were above our flight at times and below. So we were literally going through them. So the other documentaries that we'll be diving into on this as well, where they fly in the stratosphere, all different levels, and they were pulling out the aluminum, barium, nanoparticles, bacteria, plastics right out of the stratosphere. There's no other way they could get up there, and that isn't just engine burn off. Are you kidding me? Like aluminum alone, I'm sorry, that doesn't happen. You can test your own muffler if you feel like. So all these angles are diminishing us. If we don't start properly acknowledging them, if we don't start just get out of this line and go down this complex road, it's to our detriment. And we're all getting deteriorated from all these different angles of attack. And, luckily I'm a masterpiece. Luckily ivermectin, luckily this detox and things that should over time help eradicate this. But if we're forever dogs chasing its tail, trying to eradicate symptoms and gain the best percentage of health as we can without stopping these angles of attack. We know the vaccine shedding. We know all these other things. We got to clean up our water. We got to clean up our air. We got to clean up our food sources. Oh my gosh, there's other clips. I don't want to get too off topic and too vast in this singular episode, but we're getting chipped at and we're just slowly getting hacked down. And I could just feel it within myself and see it around. And health, if we don't have and are able to maintain a certain percentage of our health in this life, we lose everything. Our jobs don't matter. Our 401ks and retirement don't matter. What does it matter at the point you make it there and you even have a nice nest egg, but you're bedridden? It doesn't matter. Or we're dead. It doesn't matter, right? What matters is what we're leaving our children. Freedom isn't free. So that means there's cost to us to even maintain it right here, right now. And we've been mostly in America, from what I have observed and also shamefully walked down that path myself, I treated it as though it was free. It was already earned through Jesus and the salvation, through all the warriors that fought abroad, shed blood, sweat, and tears on our behalf in this country. We're losing it because we're not fulfilling the responsibility we have in this moment to even maintain the freedoms they handed down to us. So I believe that Watch the Water here, we're going to dive into who does this. There is a Watch the Water number 1, and then there's number 2. But for whatever reason, I feel drawn to dive in to Watch the Water 2. And then I'll probably watch the Water on my own accord. And if I feel impressed to also dive into that after 2, then we're going to do that. If you want to watch them in order, then stop the live right now. Go watch the Water 1. You can go to the Stu Peters Network. The link's in the description below. But let's go ahead and read this little paragraph here before diving into this episode. And then we're just going to play this out. I'll do my best, not to interrupt too much. States, they called it a conspiracy. They ignored the evidence, but they can't change the truth. Dr. Brian Ardis returns in this closing chapter to Watch the Water, reinforcing the research behind the groundbreaking documentary, which is Watch the Water 1. From venom, peptides, to blood clots, Dr. Ardis and Stu dive deep into how the COVID-19 bioweapon was made. There is an evil in this world, and it is trying to snuff out God's people by any means necessary. And I believe evil is becoming far too effective. We need to lean on God and the sacrifice Jesus made more and more each and every day. And all I can do is share my testimony. And he hasn't spoken to me. All these, but so many things happen in my life that I just feel this great peace, this great joy, this great comfort, all the meaning and purpose I'm willing and excited to continue to invest at this at great cost to my time, my money, everything. Because at this point, nothing else matters than the big picture. And that's kind of the blessing of today and the challenges we're faced with. I believe more. There's kind of a revival for Jesus, and it's due to the challenges. But evil's trying to feed into enough bread and circus, enough luxury that is keeping us complacent because it's through challenges that it's either going to crush you or you rise to the challenge, and rising to the challenge creates what? It creates growth, more resilience. And that's why I feel, and a lot of people tend to, in accepting that challenge, tend to lean more on God. So there's a great opportunity for us. With that, can't wait to dive into this. Love y'all. I just want to see the best version of you. Let's hone in on more things to consider where we can shine the light on the roots of the issues and bring health back.
Snakes starting to play a big role in COVID-19 research. Snake venom could be driving COVID deaths.
That snakes like the Chinese crate and the Chinese cobra may be the source of the deadly coronavirus.
Interesting. Can you hear okay? Does the sound need to go up? Let me know.
Check one. There's going to be a lot of people that are really threatened, really upset that we're here.
Thank you for helping me get the word out.
See, man, Watch the Water, a tremendous success.
There's going to be a lot of people that are really
obviously blasted everywhere by the people that it threatened that we're here. I'm still called Venom Boy, on social media everywhere, which I can't understand because how many hundreds of studies do we need to produce? How many peer-reviewed papers and journals do we need to provide to you to show you that everything that we, just said, that you just revealed to the world to try to save lives is actually happening. We are being intentionally poisoned.
Since Watch the Water, I just want to say thank you for helping me get that out to the world, that message. Regardless of how people treated the message we put out and the controlled opposition to try to keep that suppressed, it has reached millions and millions of people around the world. And I just want to give a huge shout out to you and the network for being able to, number one, find a way to make this emotional and powerful, because it is a very powerful message that everybody should know, and it should not be suppressed. Since that's been released, every day it is 10, 12 hours of me actually looking into documentation, research studies, finding that this isn't new. They've been working towards creating envenomation worldwide, finding ways to use venoms and propose them to be toxins, and at the same time propose them to be cures.
Wow, I apologize. Volume wasn't up all the way. I hope you can hear okay. If there's any issue, just let me know in the live chat. Appreciate you.
In the form of antiviral drugs and antiviral vaccines. From the very beginning, the individuals in Wuhan that got sick in the fall of 2019, when the Chinese doctors took the blood of everybody in the hospital, they ran their antibodies to see what are the antibodies directing themselves to. Is it a virus? Is it a poison? What is it?
We're hearing about this outbreak being linked to snakes. How so?
So yeah, Dave, Chinese scientists have analyzed the genetic sequence of the virus, and it really appears that snakes like the Chinese crate and the Chinese cobra may be the source of the deadly coronavirus. They concluded this after identifying that the 2019 NCOV was a mix or recombination of two coronaviruses.
Interesting.
One was known to infect bats, but the other had origin that was unknown. After considering other animal hosts, scientists concluded that it may have come from snakes.
The genetic origin, they said, was of the crate snake's venom. Second most likely origin was the king cobra's venom, called cobra toxin. That's what they said. I didn't publish that. That's what they published. Wow. And then in April of 2020, French scientists in France, geneticists, actually took the spike protein and ran its gene sequence and then published their findings. It turns out it was the king cobra's venom, called a cobra toxin, was the actual spike protein. And they ran the sequence again, and they found it was identical to the crate snake's venom protein called bungaro toxin. So here's another country 4 months later running the spike protein that you're aware, right? COVID-19's virus isn't the deadly part of COVID, it's the spike protein.
COVID-19 is not a virus, in fact, at all.
Right, it's actually simply venom. The farther you look into this, you know they're actually replicating all the symptoms of COVID, telling the world it's a virus, when in fact every single symptom of COVID can be specifically pinpointed at a specific protein found in a venomous creature's venom.
Losing a battle with COVID-19, it's like having rattlesnake venom running through your body. At least that's what researchers are telling us.
We found evidence that there was an enzyme, a snake-like enzyme in the blood of people who were dying in extraordinarily high levels.
They actually told you in April of 2020, this is not a respiratory pathogen. These spike proteins of venoms cross the blood-brain barrier and attack the central nervous system, the part of the brainstem that controls breathing, and it will make the individual hypoxic. They will actually start to have a difficulty breathing with cough. They will have fevers, chills, malaise, like you see with COVID. They think that this is a respiratory pathogen.
I gotta ask, if this has been published, peer-reviewed, if from the very beginning they've been saying this is what this is, why do we have quote-unquote trusted experts, the self-proclaimed inventor of mRNA technology, Dr. Robert Malone? Why do we have Dr. Peter McCullough, the chief scientist at the Wellness Company? Why do we have Dr. Pierre Corey? Why do we have Dr. Paul Merrick? Why do we have all these doctors, trusted experts saying, protect yourself from a respiratory virus? This is what you need to do. Why do they not subscribe to the Brian Artist truth that this is envenomation? Why?
It's been very odd to me. What is the why? It's interesting because they refuse to talk to me about their why.
Wow.
They won't meet with me, talk
Says
to me.
it all.
They avoid the actual presentations on
Wait a
stages.
minute. The people that I just named specifically avoid you.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
But don't you share a stage with them? I mean,
they often will excuse themselves from the events when they find out I'm speaking. Since Watch the Water Drop.
Wow.
Pierre Corey, Paul Merrick.
Have you given them the data? Have you shown them the studies?
Yes, I've actually presented it to them, gave it to them. They still refuse to look at it, I guess.
What do you mean refuse to look at it?
I've given it to them, told them to read it and get back with me. None of them have ever talked to me. Even the researchers I gave it to, here, look at this, and tell me where I'm wrong and where these people are wrong in their peer-reviewed, published publications.
Isn't a medical doctor's job, by very definition, to research, to read, to review, to study, to diagnose, and to treat?
That's supposedly what they took on.
What a great discussion.
So these people who are the leaders, a few of which we just mentioned, and I don't care who you name, we want to know, we deserve to know who these people are.
Yes. Yeah.
Have said to you, I refuse to listen or review the paperwork. I mean, I just want to be very clear here. They refuse to even look.
Oh, I'll tell you what Pierre Corey said. He said I was a manic chiropractor and that my documentation was a waste of his time. He got into an hour and a half worth of watching my documentations, said it was a waste of his time, and has never looked at it again. Really, the same information I gave all of you with Watch the Water, releasing that to the world, I gave you all the information to actually substantiate all the claims.
Wow.
And it's a waste of your time. Their behaviors show nothing but cowardice.
Ooh, I like it.
If you are going to profess to be a leader of men and women in this country and try to save their lives, why aren't you looking at the actual weapon? All of you who continue to deny wanting to talk about venoms being COVID, shame on all of you. If you would go back and look at the studies that were published in April of 2020, they tell you you're wrong about the target, that the receptors they're actually targeting with the spike protein, they tell you it's ACE2 receptors is what you guys keep telling everybody. That's not what it is. It isn't ACE2 receptors. And if you think it's ACE2 receptors, why was it published in April of 2020 that ACE2 receptors are absent or devoid in the lungs themselves? If this is a respiratory pathogen, how is it published in April of 2020 that ACE2 receptors aren't even in the lungs? If that's how this virus gets inside of your cells and causes a lung pathology, and you're going to say the receptors are ACE2 receptors, but they don't exist in the lungs, why do you keep preaching that this is a lung pathology?
Why do they?
Do you know that the antidote that we listed when I said in April of 2020, the French researchers found the genetic sequence of the spike proteins that causes disease to 28 different tissues in the body? Found by the Salk Institute, the spike proteins, not the virus, by themselves cause disease to 28 different tissues in the body.
Wow. War propaganda, controlling narratives, manipulating minds. 100%. I don't understand how the talking heads, these news organizations, are propagandist outlets. I mean, Barack Hussein Obama passed legislation allowing these institutions to literally propagandize and lie to we the public. Look it up. He passed that legislation, those bills. It's clear. And the fact that any of these institutions even have a shred of value or following just goes to show we as a people have more work to be had to point out all these war tactics and fallacy and lies and gaslighting and manipulation and propaganda that they're pushing.
When they realized and published in April of 2020 that the receptor targets on the cells was not ACE2 receptors, it was actually nicotinic acetylcholine receptors all throughout the body. The antidote from the beginning of these researchers in April of 2020 was everyone around the world needs to start doing nicotine substance studies. We don't care if they use patches, we don't care if they use nicotine pouches, nicotine gum, it doesn't matter. A nicotine agent will protect people from COVID. It is the perfect antidote. The targets are nicotine receptors.
Now we are all under more stress, which means people who smoke might be lighting up even more. At first, experts studying COVID-19 thought smoking was a major risk factor, but now they're not so sure. 13 on your side, Sarah Makuta talked to local experts about a new study out of France.
When you take information that's published since April of 2020, and our governments and then our federal health agencies and then our mainstream media lied to the whole world that smokers are at the highest risk for COVID. Even today they say
data collected by French scientists suggests smokers are less likely to catch the coronavirus. The experts we talked to said this is not the case.
Fake. That is totally fake. That is not true whatsoever. The actual lowest demographic of people that are getting hospitalized or dying from COVID are smokers. It is less than 2% worldwide. In April of 2020, the researchers in France said, we know there's this respiratory virus going around the world right now. 95% of the people in hospitals should be smokers, but they're not.
Interesting.
It's actually less than 5% at that point in April of 2020.
Wow.
And they then said it must be the nicotine that's binding to these receptors that the spike proteins are targeting. Venom peptides target nicotine receptors. That's what they do. And to help people understand this, so this is the two terms. There's a term called antagonist and agonist. So antagonist, obviously, when any substance is an antagonist and it actually hits a cell on the outside of it that has a nicotine receptor, it's called nicotinic acetylcholine receptors. When an antagonist hits it, it shuts off the cell's function. So for example, if you have a nerve in your tongue that actually tastes, that's its job as a sensory nerve, it's designed to substantiate and determine taste. When a venom hits it, or an antagonist, it shuts off that nerve's function, which is to taste.
That
and guess
explains.
what happened with COVID?
Yeah.
People lost their taste. If it actually hits, the venom hits, or an antagonist hits the olfactory bulb, which controls smell, it will shut off that nerve's function to smell.
Interesting.
And you'll lose your taste and smell. What about hearing? You get venom in your central nervous system and it hits the nerves that control hearing. Guess what people get? You shut that off and you get ringing in your ears, tinnitus and deafness.
Wow.
And then there's an agonist. An agonist is what turns them on. Guess what is the perfect agonist and has been the whole time that they knew was the antidote to COVID?
Nicotine.
Nicotine. The whole time.
Do you remember when
Dr. Brian Ardis is such a blessing for us all, and he brings the documentation, the receipts to back up everything he speaks out on, and he does a really fantastic job of it. Stu Peters is a man not afraid to be, he's one of the most unmuzzled, let's say, journalists out there in his old network. We don't got to agree with him on everything or the way he presents it or the language he uses, right? Sometimes it could be quite distasteful, but I do admire the unmuzzledness, and this is so important. We all should be more so willing to accept any names people are willing to throw at us. It's like, we can't twist our arms. It's up to them at the end of the day, whether they want to do the research or not. And it might be through full-fledged episodes like this. It may be through shorter clips. Dr. Brian Ardis has very powerful interaction. Shoot, maybe I'll queue up a 10-minute segment. We'll see our time at that point, but it's a mind-blowing segment.
Fauci, you probably all remember, Fauci said now would be a great time to stop smoking. Now would be a great time.
These gentlemen are not advocating picking up smoking, by the way. The chemicals and additives in the cigarettes are arguably or more distinctly proven that the chemicals are behind the cancer. Nicotine, also arguably / proven, is a natural nutrient. One of the number one nutrients formerly that were in potatoes and a lot of vegetables. But that's diminished over time. Interesting as to why. But we've been taught that nicotine strictly is a chemical, not a nutrient. So it's kind of interesting just even looking with all the chemicals and additives, the actual facts and statistics that came out regarding even nicotine smokers with all those chemicals, they did fare better in ways. Not advocating on behalf of smoking. There's other pure forms of replacing the nutrient known as nicotine within our bodies. And I'm experimenting on some things even personally myself. And when I find something I really feel good advocating for, then I'll talk about it. And it can be your decision whether you want to try implementing this and see if in fact it helps with tinnitus or any brain fog, things to that nature.
To give up.
It's all about solutions.
Did he know?
Oh, they knew for sure.
Wow.
I mean, all of a sudden, everybody's getting sick. If we were quarantining, if we were separated, if we were wearing masks, if we weren't standing within 6 feet of anybody else, how was it spreading? How were people getting sick?
If you were going to make a massive amount of people around the entire globe sick, if you were going to do that, and at the same time you were going to lock them down in their homes and in their apartments where they can't go outside, they're inside. What's the only thing all governments in industrialized nations, what do they have control of going into your home while you're locked down in there? Water.
Could they have stepped up the toxicity of the venom in the water? And I know we have a lot to cover, so just very quickly, they could have. But they intentionally left it diluted.
The fact that all industrialized nations around the world were only looking for COVID in wastewater, that bothered me because they were saying wastewater as it leaves your town, and they're sampling it with PCRs to look for COVID.
Right. Wow.
They said as it's leaving your town, we can predict an outbreak in your town 7 to 10 days later.
Consider this as well, folks. Okay, this isn't natural. They're spraying that up. It's no joke. So you can see the distinctive streaks like this. I'm sorry, that's not natural, and it's being done intentionally. And even if you're inside your home, this is making it through your filter systems, everything as well. So we gotta stomp that out as well. More things to consider. I don't mean to
after we find
dilute the message here, but it's just crucial we consider everything so we can get to the roots of the issues and put a stop to them. We got this.
You have COVID in your wastewater.
So everybody's complicit. They're all in on it. The people at your water treatment facilities, they know what they're doing. Like nobody's saying anything. Why are you the only one that's saying that this is happening?
Yeah, everybody. It's come to my attention very recently that there's a company called the Carus Company, C-A-R-U-S, that actually maintains all the proprietary blends for water treatments of the water we drink in our country. And our government actually handles that contract. In their proprietary blends, you can actually see for our water treatment that we drink and we shower in their proprietary blends, they include a protein called ecarin, E-C-A-R-I-N.
A protein.
That is a snake venom component that elicits blood clotting. It's in their blends that we put in our water. What was a side effect of COVID? Blood clotting. Ecarin initiates rapid blood clotting.
Did you guys catch throw it in the chat, will you, if you caught the name of that company? Otherwise, I'll just put a note here. We are at 13:55. And it was just before this company. Making notes. Because it's nice to do our own research, vet that, and if they're colluding with the government, then, oh my gosh. That's even more alarming at this point, to be honest.
It's actually a venom protein from the saw-scaled viper. It's also a part of a funded research project to make a self-assembling hydrogel called SLAC. And they infuse this self-assembling hydrogel using ecarin from the saw-scaled viper to initiate rapid blood clotting.
Wow.
And then they infused it with a second venom from another snake called the eastern brown snake. Its Latin name is Pseudonaja, meaning false cobra. The eastern brown snake's venom protein they add to this hydrogel, they call SLAC, or abbreviate SB50. is infused with E-carin from the salt-scaled viper snake to initiate rapid blood clotting, and then they introduce what's called textillinin.
Wow.
Textillinin is the protein from the eastern brown snake that prevents your body from allowing plasmin, that every medical doctor should know. Plasmin breaks down blood clots in the body as it's being formed. God put it inside of you to protect you from blood clotting and stroking out. The actual textillinin protein from the eastern brown snake prevents your body's plasmin from breaking down the blood clots.
Wow.
And it's published by them. We have created a self-assembling nanoparticle hydrogel that causes rapid blood clotting, and it is resistant to plasmin being able to break it down, warfarin from being able to break it down, which is Coumadin, a blood thinner, and it's also heparin resistant. And what did you find in every ICU with COVID-19 patients? They were heparin resistant. Why?
That is
they had
messing
E-carin in their
us
body
up.
and textillinin.
Is that what's causing these?
When you really look into this and you see the receipts and data they're bringing forward, now this clicks. This actually makes sense with our mind, with our gut, with our spirit. It makes way more sense than the propaganda. I get it can be challenging to acknowledge this level of evil and this level of warfare playing out on all of us. But once again, the very individuals that are getting tied into all this, look at the Georgia Guidestones, how, the TED Talk of Bill Gates, that other lady, the World Economic Forum, everything, the WHO, they've all put it out there, and it just doesn't take any rocket scientist. There's nothing conspiratorial about it. Now, all the tyrannical push, all the infringement on all our rights, it just makes sense. So to believe the lie, to believe the propaganda, and more so get in line right here for a comforting lie, it becomes easier to be like, okay, I'm going to come over here, I'm going to hear this out, and then we'll just slowly bring more people over to this, which will lead to a better tomorrow, healthier us, healthier children, securing our future. Without our health, we continue to do this. It's just like the next time we're coming up here, we're in a wheelchair. Next time we're coming up here, it's in a coffin. Let's not allow it to get to that state. I don't mean to be all fear. No, it's just an opportunity we have. And, we got to be realistic with ourselves and as to, are we going to break through to even everyone in our circles and our family? Probably not. No, probably not. And it might be through other means and other information. That's why we're continually exposing this evil from all different angles. Help advance my approach. Well, yeah, I appreciate you. This is not my platform. It's God's platform that he's giving it to us all. Can we maximize while we have the ability? Reach out to unmuzzledchat@gmail.com. I'd love to have you on the podcast, or I'd love your sources of information or critiques as to what I could do better, because at the end of the day, we want to see results. We want to help individuals. We want to save lives. We want to secure our future. And I'm giving everything up to pursue all those things. So help me bridge the gap within your family, within the working man and woman that just doesn't have the bandwidth, the energy, the time, by simply supporting what we're trying to do. Integrating, thumbs up, hey, click that like button, just smash that thing. Send this to other people, say, hey, just follow Unmuzzled Chat and smash the like button on a few episodes. Let's create more momentum that is going to lead to organic growth, because proven. I could bring the graphs and data other podcasters have sent me. Yes, even on Rumble. Thank goodness for this platform. It's allowing us freedom of speech. However, we can prove there's algorithms we're fighting to even get our messages out. So we are entirely banking on positive momentum and impact on organic growth. So I appreciate those that get it, that are willing to do what they can. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's save lives together.
White fibrous things that embalmers are finding?
1,000% that's what's causing it.
So finally we know what's
1000%.
causing them. Why will nobody test these things, by the way?
Good question.
Yeah, very interesting, right? This is why when I do my presentations, I keep telling people, all you have to do is go test for E-Carin now and textillinin if you see elevated D-dimers or the absence of it. And I want to explain something to people. When Watch the Water dropped, a lot of people called me to actually have Zoom calls with me and all the medical experts around the world and scientists around the world. It was like they had to have an intervention with me to wrangle me in. Like, we got to get this guy under control.
Yeah, you're nuts.
And it didn't work, because this is what I would say. Go ahead and unleash on me what your concerns are before I lay this out for you. And I would just sit there confidently and do it with everybody you've already named. And they would go like this. Number one, even Steve Kirsch, number one, Dr. Artis, you can't swallow snake venom. When it hits your stomach acid, it actually denatures it. And it won't make it into your intestines and get into your bloodstream. You can't swallow venom. And I'd go like this, really? Really? And then with all the medical doctors on there, I'd go like this. So we can't swallow snake venom and get it past your stomach acid to get it into your intestines, to get into your bloodstream, to make you sick? Or change your physiology? Nope. Really? How many medical doctors are on this call? Raise your hand. And they would raise their hands and I'd go, great. How many of you have prescribed a drug called lisinopril for high blood pressure in the last 40 years? Just so you know, there's over 20 million Americans every morning waking up swallowing lisinopril that medical doctors are prescribing them. Do you know that in 1981, Bristol Myers Squibb patented captopril that's inside lisinopril to lower your blood pressure? And it's made from snake venom from a viper in Brazil.
Oh, snap.
And they are prescribing a dried powdered form tablet of snake.
He got him. He got all the doctors. He got them. However, you could tell his intent isn't to get them. It's to open their eyes to actually looking at the real data and Good job, Dr. Brian Artis. These men are such a gift.
Venom for you to swallow to actually relax your muscles with a paralytic venom that paralyzes muscles.
Interesting.
To relax your muscles of your blood vessels and arteries to lower blood pressure. I said, how many of you knew you're prescribing an ACE inhibitor that's actually made from venom? Snake venom. And every morning, 22 million Americans are putting it in their mouth and swallowing it. And it's going past their stomach, into their intestines. They have known how to get, the pharmaceutical industry has known for years how to get venom past the stomach acid into your body to create changes to your physiology. And what we screamed out in the Watch the Water documentary was, you need to go look for venom. They are poisoning us. You need to look at the water. There is no part of me that even questions whether or not they're poisoning us in water. Wow. If you want to make sure your family's going to stay healthy, you got to make sure the air you breathe, the water you drink, and the food you eat is clean. They know water systems. Since 2006, it's been published. Our water systems in all industrialized nations are a source of bioterrorism. To create.
Okay. Oh, I just pulled myself off screen. So, all right, don't go anywhere. This is a good intermission. I'm actually so intrigued. I don't want to leave you here, but I do have a parts per million tester. I'm going to go grab some tap water right now, put it in a fresh, clean glass, and just pour some tap. And we're going to look at it right now. And we'll even look at the EPA's recommendation on parts per million. Now, this isn't an advanced test on the specifics like identifying snake venom or any particulate. It's just showing that there's far more in the water than is even deemed drinkable or humane to drink by even the corrupt EPA standard. Okay, so it's kind of like the whole chemtrail. It's like there is this distinction between the contrail and chemtrail. So it's like, well, okay, once you understand the distinction and that we're actually being sprayed, the question shifts to what are we being sprayed? So you look at the parts per million. Okay, well, if it's over what it should be, what is in there? And it would be insane to drink that water without knowing that answer. Let me do that. I'm going to get this full screen, continue playing, and that'll be fun to do that experiment right here on this live. Not even planned. Let's go.
Global attacks and poisonings. And they published in 2006 biological peptides that can be used as a terrorism weapon in water systems. They disclose all venoms, snail venoms, sponge venoms, conotoxins, snake venoms. botulism. They actually put it in the papers. We know all of these can be utilized around the world to cause massive pandemics as a terrorism weapon in our water systems. Okay, they've known that this whole time. And then everything we show you is published by somebody in multiple countries around the world confirming venom is in the COVID-19 patients, causing all their long hauler COVID symptoms. It wasn't an airborne pathogen. Can they use venom and aerosolize it? Yes. Are they doing it? I don't know, but they already know that they can. The United States Department of Justice published in 2012. Look it up. Look it up. It says conotoxins, potential weapons of the sea. Conotoxins found in COVID-19 patients' blood and feces, 15 different cone snail venoms inside COVID patients' blood and feces, confirmed in Italy and by Dr. Chetty, MD, in South Africa. Yes, and it states on the U.S. Department of Justice website right now, it says there's so much conotoxins around the world that could be utilized as an aerosolized terrorism weapon. And when people inhale it, they will develop respiratory failure and die. Oh my God, that sounds like COVID. This is in 2012. 2015, the World Economic Forum actually has on their website how killer snails will improve the state of the world. That's the title of the article. It's all about cone snail venoms, conotoxins. World Economic Forum, how killer snails will improve the state of the world. That was 2015, published on September 11th, by the way. 5 years later, there's a pandemic declared, and the venom found in the COVID-19 patients is conotoxins, killer snails venoms. This is much bigger than you realize. I do believe most of the symptoms of COVID come from cobra toxin, bungaro toxin, and conotoxin snail venom, sea snail venoms. That is confirmed again just last month in South Africa in all long hauler COVID patients. And all venoms, Stu, all of them are synthetically manufactured around the world into a lyophilized, freeze-dried, powdered form. All venoms are water soluble, and they publish that. And you and I could go home right now and actually order every single venom protein online that they found in COVID-19 patients' blood and feces. In June of 2020, you can purchase every single one of those proteins by name from that animal source. And do you know what they actually offer you? They actually offer you, when you go to buy their products, go to gentar.com, GENTAUR.com. Every single side effect of COVID-19 and the vaccines that were identified to be caused by venoms from venomous creatures, every single one of those venoms can be purchased online.
Myocarditis.
All of them.
Infertility.
All of them.
Sterility. Blood clots.
All of them.
Loss of taste. Loss of smell. Headaches. Lethargic. Long hauler.
And as a summary, if you want to fast forward to what is coming, all future of medicine for all of pharmacia, big pharma, the entire goal moving forward is actually getting human cells in our bodies the instructions to make venom-based drugs for them.
What?
So they don't have to manufacture it. They don't have to have a factory with employees. They don't need to actually warehouse it. They're going to be able to inject you with the instructions. That's what the suggestion of mRNA technology is. Getting your body to make the spike proteins. The spike proteins are venoms. Wow. ACE inhibitors are venoms. These are blood pressure managing drugs. They, in the future, believe that they can get all of you and your God-created DNA to make something the serpent makes, or venomous creatures do, that mammals don't do on their own.
Interesting. All right, guys, let's do this experiment. This will be a fun little intermission. You know, I didn't even check the battery on. You can get these parts per million testers very cheap. Let's see if we could blow up that one. Okay, here we go. So right here, oh my gosh, I can't see. Oh, yeah. Ideal drinking water from reverse osmosis. Okay, so that's from like 0. And then you could see 50 carbon filtration, mountain spring aquifers. Okay. Oh, we changed the image. We got 100 parts hard water. We got 200 parts marginally acceptable. Marginally. So now we're getting into the danger zone. 300, 400, high TDS water from Tapper Mineral Springs. Okay. And then right here, 500 plus. U.S. EPA's maximum contamination lever. Maximum. So anything above that, it's no good. It is no good. So we got fresh, good old Mesa bordering Gilbert, Arizona. Hopefully the battery works in this TDS. You can get these things freaking cheap. I believe this one actually came with my reverse osmosis that we installed on the house. Looks like the battery is good. Oh my gosh. Did Arizona clean it up? They cleaned it up. Last I tested the tap here, it was over 800. 800. But right here, we got a reading. $571. Once again, let's pull up that screen. That's over that 500. That is not even deemed humane to drink. It's got too much contamination. We ideally should be 200 or under. Now, if you got a natural spring and it's around 200, then more than likely you got healthy minerals and things in there, but it should still be tested occasionally. It's no good, folks. It's no good. So this water, no, won't drink it. Nope. Not even a single ice cube. Are you freaking kidding me? Because it's going to have those over 500 contaminants in there. What are they? Well, you could look up. We've brought sources and things like that before where you can look up what's already being tested. I would more so trust independent groups than any state or government official page doing tests. But there's pharmaceutical drugs. There's a lot of birth control products. There's fluoride. There's chemicals. There's supposedly snake venoms. Are you freaking kidding me? But what I did just prove right here, what this just proved, and if I should have brought in a cup of the RO. Last I tested that, it brought the 500. Oh, well, at the time I tested, it was still, the tap was like 800 parts. It brought it down to like under 40 parts per million. Still, those 40 parts per million, because it's really hard for reverse osmosis to actually get rid of a lot of the chemical / drug components, like the birth controls. Could that be what's tanking men's testosterone? I'm sure it has a role to play in that. Could it be as to why we're living in an age that actually has a movement where men believe they could be women by putting a freaking wig and women's makeup on? Yeah. Or the reverse scenario of a woman trying to be a man or claiming all these other things. Yeah. Because these drugs are messing with our hormones. They're messing with our neurological, undoubtedly. So it's so crucial that we find out, we do these little tests. So you could look these up. I typically don't even like ordering things from Amazon, but I think they're around $10. You can get a parts per million tester and test the water where you're at. And I do recommend at least a 5, maybe a 7-stage reverse osmosis system, RO system. It's interesting. The very EPA went after Berkey and their charcoal filters. I wonder why. Anyway, it's so alarming. Why are we not even... We've been too blindly and trusting in too many things. Now, I grew up as a kid, drink from a hose. It would be great. Let's get it back. Let's bring that back. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, institutionalizing the proper checks and balances that we can trust these sources, and they're doing monthly checks. Where's our freaking money going? We're taxed upon... the slave system of tax upon tax upon tax upon tax. We need to even obviously address that. That's a whole nother topic. Don't get me started. We need to get it to like one layer of tax, not all these layers of tax. Are you freaking kidding? It's squeezing us so hard. That's actually why the working man is and women, it's becoming so harder to even spend the time on these topics or even care. I don't have the bandwidth as our health is deteriorating. It's like the perfect weapon. Once again, that's why this is so censored. Anything health related is so censored. We're not getting proper acknowledgement across the board. So maybe we're such visual creatures by ordering a parts per million tester and just testing your own water and then going to your family members when you go visit over the holidays, test their water. And if it's anything over 200, like that's alarming. Shouldn't we know what those parts are and whether it's good, beneficial, or bad? Unbeneficial. Okay. Enough of all that. Let's continue.
CRISPR technology that we spend billions of dollars on. The whole premise is delete genes out of the human genome that cause diseases and insert snake venom genes. That's what it is. We are investing billions of dollars.
This is hard to absorb, but once we get the visual of a parts per million, now it's like, hey guys, check out this Watch the Water documentary with Dr. Artis and all the research he's done. That could be the door for people opening, being like, because they're directly drinking it, they're showering in it. Our skin is the biggest organ in our body. Yes, it can be absorbed. So the RO, it's helping on the drinking side of it, digestive side of it, but it's a whole nother level, and we're talking investment to get filter systems on our whole house water for showering, things like that. But every step along the way, we're only going to have benefits. But more importantly, if we get everyone on board, while we still have any level of bandwidth left in us and neurological function and energy in our bodies, then collectively we can address it at the source and not have to do all these personal investments. That's what we're seeking to have. And that's like that type of impact. So even that's where the working man can't even, let's say, listen to all the content that we're coming out with, but is willing to just download Rumble, support us, like us, occasionally pop in, listen to just a segment here and there and we'll get the view. It will help build the momentum we need and outreach we need to be the solution without you having to divvy up your job and full-time these battles. Let me go to war on your behalf. Well, what does it take to enabling me that power? Or it's not even me, it's us and God, that power in addressing these things through likes, through shares, through building momentum. So help us get there. I hope that kind of made sense. But yeah, let's open doors. Get a parts per million. Let's go.
Into the technology supposedly to delete disease-causing genes out of your genetics and insert snake venom, immortality, rebirth, regeneration genes from the serpent. That's what CRISPR technology is. The word CRISP, C-R-I-S-P, and the word CRISPR is snake venom components. They're called CRISPs. CRISPR technology is nothing more than deleting and inserting venomous genetics.
What?
That is the entire pharmaceutical industry is moving that way. This is one of the reasons why they want to do booster shots every 6 months. They want to be able to inject us with the instructions for our bodies to make their drugs for them.
Oh no.
That are all venom-based. My concerns over why the vaccines have snake venom in it is because the two people credited with creating the COVID-19 mRNA shots, their names are Drew Wiseman and Cataline Carrico at the University of Pennsylvania. So in every one of their damn studies since 2009, being paid for by Anthony Fauci and the NIH to do mRNA gene therapy. That's the funding declaration on their studies. We are funded by the NIH, the NIAID department, Anthony Fauci's department, to do mRNA gene therapy. Every study since 2009, 2011,
gosh, they're such criminals.
2015, every single one of their damn studies says that in order to cut RNA or DNA, they use snake venom phosphodiesterase by words, 3 words, snake venom phosphodiesterase to cleave the RNA or DNA to insert the mRNA for our gene therapy.
Wow.
Okay. I don't know how to be more clear when I say I'm worried.
More clear. Let's bring more people into this live to bless their lives and see the light. Let's do it. Share it. like wildfire. I just tried. Luckily, Facebook accepted this one as advertising, so posted it on many different groups. Appreciate any effort you put into it. How is information bad? He brings all the receipts. I'm telling you, Dr. Artist is hitting it out of the park.
There's snake venom in the shots. Why don't you go look at the recipes of the researchers who created the shots?
Yes.
Stu, the damn words snake venom is in the paper.
Wow.
We use snake venom phosphodiesterase. Why is it these people won't look at it? Why won't medical doctors look at it? Why do they refuse to look at it? I have no idea. But what did Charles Hoff, MD, out of British Columbia, Canada, say 2 summers ago?
Wow, this is
He
good.
said, I ran the mRNA-injected patients' blood, and I wanted to see why is there so many complaints in them of fatigue, tachycardia, all kinds of problems.
Yes.
Every mRNA-injected patient for COVID, 60% of all of them had elevated D-dimers. And he said, everyone needs to be running this test on your COVID-19 injected patients. This elevated D-dimer test tells you there's clotting going on everywhere in the body.
Wow.
This is where the term the clot shot came from. Well, it's because Charles Hoff said elevated D-dimers are showing up in 60% of my mRNA injected patients. I was like, elevated D-dimers? I don't even know what that is. I called several cardiologists. They hadn't heard of it either. Hadn't seen that test since board exams in med school. So this isn't a very common test. They had to go look it up. I looked it up. I wanted to know if Charles Hoff, MD, is telling the world to go do elevated D-dimers. What is it medical doctors are trained, or lab technicians trained, to look for when you see elevated D-dimers on a test? Because I had never seen the test. So I went online and looked it up. How are elevated D-dimers interpreted? Medscape.com in 2019, updated again in 2022, has one article, How to Interpret Elevated D-dimers. And there's five bullet points. The first 4 describe different types of blood clots in the body.
So good.
Blood clot, go look for this blood clot, go look for this blood clot in the brain, lungs, in the legs. That's what they describe. If you see elevated D-dimers, go look for blood clots. Stu, of the 5 bullet points that they tell all medical doctors to go look for when you see elevated D-dimers, there's only one listed that could cause the elevated D-dimer, blood clotting, to show up. And it says snake venom poisoning. So when I see that, I'm like, it actually is published that the medical doctors who are refusing to look at this stuff, Stu, it says in their own publications, you, MDs, when you see elevated D-dimers, go look for snake venom poisoning. Why do they refuse to do that? Why do they refuse to acknowledge snake venom could be a part of COVID or the COVID shots? Elevated D-dimers, you're supposed to go look for it. All I did then was go, if snake venom could be causing blood clotting that Charles Hoff is seeing as elevated D-dimers in his mRNA-injected patients, I want to know, did the researchers who created the COVID-19 mRNA shots, all I did was find out, who were they? It's Drew Wiseman and Cataline Carrico at the University of Pennsylvania. Do not be confused by any other person claiming to have created the mRNA shots. It is Drew Wiseman and Cataline Carrico. Cataline Carrico has been working on this technology since 1978.
Not Dr. Robert Malone.
No, Cataline Carrico since 1978 with Drew Wiseman's help at the University of Pennsylvania. They're the ones who created the shots. They're the ones whose names are on the patent. They're the ones receiving the royalty checks for these COVID-19 shots, saving the world supposedly. Not Robert Malone. But I want the world to recognize.
I didn't know that.
There are published concerns.
It'll be good to
that
verify.
I have that's in your face. Snake venom, you need to go look for poisoning of snake venom with elevated D-dimers. This is what they're reporting. Great. So I go and look. Who created the shots? Drew Wiseman and Cataline Carrico. Any medical doctor at home or layperson can go like this. Drew Wiseman and Cataline Carrico on any internet search. Drew Wiseman and Cataline Carrico and snake venom. You're going to see all the studies from 2009, 11, 12, 15, where they were creating the mRNA technology using snake venom. Another part of this disgustingness people need to know, in every one of these research papers, they say they use snake venom phosphodiesterase to cleave or cut your RNA or DNA, but they also use RNase, and there's multiple forms of RNases they use. I don't know if y'all know this, but RNases are venom components from snakes that destroy RNA. And they're using it in gene therapy. There is nothing that was either created by God or evolved in evolution that's more toxic to living cells than the biological weapon of venom.
Oh boy.
In all venomous creatures. They're utilizing this toxin and poison that destroys organisms, living cells. They're using it to damage or cut up your cells, believing they can dissect your genetics, your nucleus of your cells, get into your DNA, cut it, and insert mRNA of their choosing. That's why I'm concerned COVID-19 vaccines have snake venom in it, because in their recipe for designing the shots, they use the word snake venom. And then elevated D-dimers. Medical doctors, you're supposed to look for snake venom. Why aren't y'all looking for that? Do you know that I've heard medical doctors reporting all over the world that they're seeing HIV-like markers in the blood of their patients after the COVID-19 shots? Not that they have HIV, but all the immune deficiency markers, like low T-cell counts, other problems. They're reporting they're seeing at least 6 to 8 immune deficiency markers in the blood of patients after getting the COVID-19 shots that mimic what you would see with the HIV patients, but they don't have HIV. Do you know that they are proposing antiviral vaccines and have patents for them, all made from venoms? Scorpion venoms, snake venoms. They propose venoms are antiviral, even for HIV. And then this quote every time shows up. Snake venom components are homologous to HIV-1's glycoprotein.
Wow.
Okay. I need to make sure the world hears this.
Yeah, you
and all
can't
medical
make that
doctors,
up.
all lay people at home. The snake venom components they are patenting right now and already own patents on to make substitutes for antiviral vaccines. These snake venom components they're using to make antiviral vaccines, they publish snake venom components are homologous to HIV-1's glycoprotein, the spike protein on the outside of HIV.
Come on.
Do you know what the word homologous in science and research means? I had to look it up. What does homologous mean? Do you know it means similar in evolutionary origin?
I like how he's even talking about admitting he even had to look it up and do his own research. There's so much awesome information literally at our fingertips. I mean, our educational courses would need to be revamped up almost monthly, teaching us how to properly source information nowadays too, because think about these big pharmaceutical companies, these individuals with their hidden agendas and whatnot, seeking power, control, no threat to their authoritarian regime and reign, right? Positions of power. They got big money. Everything's on the line to not have this exposed. So they're going to put a ton of, let's just say, resources behind us, not any hoops or blocks that they could put on truthful information. They're going to do. And they're going to create a whole bunch of information that's, so your Googles, right? These tyrannical platforms that are playing God and censoring, they are the misinformation, disinformationists themselves, although they're projecting like they're stopping it. Oh, evil's here under the guise of good. And it's proven evil because clearly everything good is agency. Like we should have the agency to speak, be wrong, things of that nature. Evil's controlling, manipulative, deceitful, and anti-agency. So these tyrannical platforms, what definition, umbrella are they falling under? It's just proof. So we need the ability to even be educated in ourselves to source information. Oh, here I am doing all these hand gestures. I'm not even on the screen. Not that it matters. You don't need to see me. Let's continue.
Okay, let me read this back to you. Snake venom components are similar in evolutionary origin to HIV-1's glycoprotein. Just switch it around. HIV is similar in evolutionary origin to snake venom components. Are you hearing me? They are finding all around the world immune deficiency markers that look identical to HIV. They know snake venom components are homologous to HIV. If you want to know the truth, I believe the spike protein on HIV is also venom-based and has been introduced into this world through vaccines.
Wow.
A snake venom component. They're calling it a virus. What is the Latin historical definition of the word virus? Everybody in the world, what is the Latin historical definition of virus? And what's the one language and the one industry that still uses Latin as their primary language? The pharmaceutical industry and the medical industry. Why do they continue to use Latin? What is the Latin historical definition of the word virus?
Venom. Oh gosh.
Really? So HIV, its glycoprotein, is homologous, similar in evolutionary origin to snake venom components. Do y'all want to know why it is you're seeing immune deficiency markers in all your patients after you get the COVID-19 injections? They're injecting you with snake venom components.
Wow.
It's in their damn studies.
This is so amazing. What a blessing. Because if we can actually hone in on the root of the things ailing us, then we more effectively can address it, which brings what? Health back. That's what's important. Not here to cast stones on anyone that was manipulated, pressured, coerced, forced to keep their job, military, I forget even the terminology, but threats, legitimate threats, felony charges, dishonorably discharge. They used every tactic in the book. So we're not here. That's not what's important. What's important is that we can hone in and acknowledge what, in fact, is hindering our health. Bottom line, boom. What solutions are there to minimize these adverse effects, easily arguably intended consequences diminishing our health? That's what's important here. No comment. We're not trying to be offensive. We're not trying to trigger anybody, right? It's just important we get to the bottom of what is going on.
The recipes for researchers and scientists that create vaccines and drugs, the recipes are found in their research studies. Why don't y'all go look at their research studies? They're using RNase and snake venom in their research to do mRNA gene therapy. Why aren't you going to look at the creators' websites, their recipes, their research studies to try to understand why are we seeing all these massive blood clots around the world in people who are dying after getting the COVID shots?
Yeah.
Why are we seeing immune deficiency markers identical to HIV?
Watch just a bit if you haven't seen Died Suddenly. That's just a couple episodes back. You can see the blood clots. If you haven't seen what embalmers were stepping forward, showing the world, never seen before, and now it's in a vast majority of their patients that they're processing, it's interesting. So many of us now aren't even embalming our loved ones when they pass. Cremation is becoming a new wave popular. I wonder why that is. It's so unnatural, but it's becoming way more cost effective and things of that nature. Oh yeah. But we're not even gaining the information on the majority of our loved ones that pass that we need to even hone in on, this being a big issue. So I'm just so grateful for so many putting so much funds and energy and time and expertise and research into these topics, because without that, we're more so not seeing it in our personal lives due to kind of just what our society's shifting into.
You think any of these medical doctors know that HIV is identical to snake venom components? Do you think they know that?
No.
It doesn't appear that they do, or that they're interested in looking into it.
Right.
Most are not, and that's been very, very disgusting because they can't explain the injuries. They're just quoting data that's being reported back to agencies.
Regurgitated.
Wouldn't it be great to actually go look and see what might be causing this stuff? Everyone who has a loved one who has lost a baby during a pregnancy and received a COVID-19 injection. I can tell you what caused it. I can tell you what to go look for.
Wow, that's hard.
No one else can tell you, but I'll tell you.
Wow.
It is published that there is a component of snake venom called L-amino acid oxidase, LAAO. That is an antiviral component from this snake venom.
We should be writing all this down.
It also inhibits syncytium formation. That's what they publish in their papers. Do you know what syncytium does? When a woman gets pregnant, a sperm goes into an egg and actually fertilizes the egg. The egg's got to float up to the uterus and implant into the uterine wall to start developing a placenta. They call it implantation. Syncytium on day 4 is what actually starts the implantation of the egg to the uterus wall. Syncytium does this. It's like the Velcro or the glue to the uterus. Syncytium then tells the female's body to start making a cell called syncytiotrophoblasts. Syncytiotrophoblasts connect the placenta to the uterus wall and secrete something to maintain the pregnancy called HCG and progesterone hormone. You kill syncytium, you kill the formation of syncytiotrophoblasts. The entire pregnancy is dependent on syncytiotrophoblasts releasing progesterone and HCG the whole time. The moment you stop making it, progesterone or HCG, syncytium starts pulling apart from the uterus wall, and guess what happens to the blood supply?
It's okay. It's not just over our heads, is they were expressing the majority of our pediatricians and doctors. It's over their heads. They're not taught this stuff, and the majority of them aren't researching it. Unbelievable, right?
Apply to the baby.
It's cut off.
It's cut off. Guess what happens to the baby?
Dead.
It's dead. And now your body's going to release it as a miscarriage. They know snake venom components they propose to be antiviral inhibits syncytium formation.
Wow.
You destroy syncytium at any point in a pregnancy, first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, you will miscarry. And they know it will do this. They publish that it does this. Everyone at home, if you've lost a baby or you are having the inability to get pregnant and you've gotten the COVID-19 shots, or in my opinion, have gotten during a teenage years, gotten the Gardasil shot.
Give
or
us
the HPV
solutions.
shot, I would be very concerned if you're having trouble with fertility, and I'm talking all couples around the world.
Wow.
If you were vaccinated at any point before adulthood or during adulthood, and now you can't get pregnant, or you've gotten pregnant and lost your baby after getting the COVID-19 shot, every single one of you, OBGYNs everywhere around the world, please start asking and pulling and writing a prescription for and requesting a test. It's called L-amino acid oxidase assay test.
Oh, wow. That was a... Spell it out for us, please.
And it can be as simple as a urine test. You can actually just provide urine for the test, or blood, plasma, or serum from your patients to determine, do they have elevated L-amino acid oxidase? If you do, how did it get there? That is a snake venom component that inhibits syncytium formation.
Guys, if any of you have a link, help me out here. If you have a link to that test, a request, or data, please insert that link in. You know what? Not just the live comments. Throw that in the comment section to this episode that's going to stick around to benefit everyone. This is where, you know, I'm a champ by myself. Any one of us can't figure all this stuff out on our own. We can more effectively move the needle and the ball down in the right direction collectively together. So help us fill in the gaps. I wish they would have popped that up on the screen or even the link itself, but we can do that. Come on, we got this.
I personally believe they've already known that they could create massive amounts of infertility using snake venom components in the vaccine agenda. So please, around the world, if you're struggling to actually maintain pregnancy, if you don't know this, if you go to a fertility clinic because you can't get pregnant, what's the one hormone they keep you on the whole time to maintain your pregnancy synthetically? They give you progesterone because you aren't making it. They've published, they know how to shut off syncytium's production to lead to progesterone being made during your pregnancy. And the moment you lose progesterone, you cannot maintain a pregnancy. You can't even get pregnant. You can't implant the egg into the uterus without it.
Which is a huge problem in America. We know age on marriage is going up. People are waiting later to get married and later to have kids, and we're producing less kids. However, the birth rates and things of that nature have tanked greatly since this plan, scam, demic. And it's undeniable that the facts, the statistics where we were before, and for the first time in America's history, we're actually decreasing as a nation in population. The only thing that's keeping a growth on the population is this current criminal organization allowing an invasion and aiding an invasion happening to our country, not just through the open borders. They're literally flying them in by the thousands. It's crazy. But we would be decreasing is a population. We are, for first time in America's history, minus the invasion. Isn't that wild? Very sad.
Syncytium drives that. They know how to cause miscarriages with venom, and they publish these same venoms are antiviral by nature and should be made into antiviral drugs and into antiviral vaccines. That is published. They also know they can cause blood clots with snake venoms that they say are also antiviral by nature.
So recently you were on stage at an event, and I believe you had vials with blood clots, or I guess that's what we're calling them, these white fibrous things that are killing people, causing them to die suddenly.
I took those blood clots with me up on stage, and I just held it up to Clay, held it up to the audiences, and they filmed it, and I said, these are the blood clots Richard Hirschman brought to me. I actually have found out how it is they can create these fibrous clots. I know how they can do it. Because as they describe the fibrous blood clots they can create with these 2 snake venom infused hydrogels funded by our United States Department of Defense.
Get it out.
How to create rapid blood clotting in the human body that is resistant to being broken down by plasmin, warfarin, or heparin. And they published, we use 2 snake venoms, E. carin from the saw-scaled viper snake to initiate the rapid blood clotting, and we use textillinin to stop the body from being able to break down the blood clot and make it resistant to these 2 drugs, heparin and warfarin. The reason why the Italy study was so important, that confirmed the presence of all types of venoms found in COVID-19 patients, and every single one of those proteins isolated from the venoms they found, every single one of them describes the symptoms you see published about COVID, including the blood clotting. Now, early on with COVID, they were reporting in May of 2020, the blood clotting is resistant to heparin in COVID patients. The very first found protein identified from the snake of the Malayan crate snake in the Italy study in the blood and feces of every COVID patient was a Kunitz-type serine protease inhibitor. That's what textillinin is. It blocks the body's ability to break down blood clots, and it's resistant to heparin and warfarin. Finally, I could see how they created blood clotting in COVID patients, how they would mimic the exact same action in the human body when you inject patients with snake venom. Now you're seeing it in people who are dying and embalmers can't get fluid into the bodies and they're pulling out these massive blood clots.
So criminal.
If you test
evil.
Damn blood clots for E. carin and textillinin, you will find it positive. And when you do, you now know how they created this. Mike Adams reviewed that with mass spectrometry and published, we cannot call these blood clots anymore. The components of these fibrous blood clots aren't even human. The mineral load components and percentages don't match human blood. It isn't a natural process. In nature, these 2 separate snakes' venoms are not together in one. We have to take them, make them, and then inject them into somebody. That's the only way it's going to get there. Unless I physically had you get bit by these 2 different snakes.
Interesting.
It's insane. They are synthetically manufacturing venoms all around the world. Just January 28th of 2023, just a few weeks ago, Dr. Chetty, MD, out of South Africa, is working this entire time. I have been on Zoom calls with this guy for 3 years now, as we're learning about COVID, how to treat COVID, the success they're seeing in South Africa. Dr. Chetty is a great, honest, ethical human being. He has done phenomenal work. He stated in an interview on January 28th, 2023, that in long hauler COVID patients who are coming to his clinic from around the world, they couldn't get them better with traditional therapies they found worked with other COVID patients. So they ran fecal tests on them to find out, is there anything in their body we're unaware of that would keep these people sick with long hauler COVID symptoms?
It was at that point that we realized.
Doctor, all right, I was waiting for that. I wanted to write this down. Shankra, Chetty. I want to check out some of his research.
We need to look at stool samples. It was found in sewage. And I couldn't understand why a virus found in sewage was not tracked backwards to the gastrointestinal tract where it arose, and to figure out what it was doing there.
This is basic stuff for a doctor. The ones that, nope, and they know it all, they don't have to look into things. Okay, they shouldn't even be practicing medicine. We, in a system that should be operating on behalf of we the people, we should be stripping those doctors of their, and it's all backwards. These are the doctors that get their licenses revoked because they're going against a big system. Unbelievable.
And so we managed to contact Carlo Brogna, who's done some very interesting work on coronavirus. What he basically discovered with looking at stool samples was that the virus was replicating somehow in these stool samples, and the stools had toxins, protein-based toxins in them. He found with incubation of the supernatant of this sample on fresh, uninfected stool that the viral titer rose exponentially, and so the toxins as well. And so he proved bacteriophage activity, that this virus has the ability to infect the bacteria of your gut. And he found toxicities there, toxin-like peptides, which were akin to many different kinds of snake venoms, sea snail poisons, starfish poisons.
Wow.
And it's a wonder how those got there.
They synthetically manufacture venoms in bacteria called E. coli, yeast cells, and in mammal cells all around the world. And I've been screaming to the world, if you want to know how to solve the long hauler COVID patients and the exacerbated, exaggerated, horrific outcomes of the vaccine injured, you need to test them all for bacteria and yeast infections. Because once you introduce venom into an environment where those are, they are designed to replicate and manufacture venom in its presence. It's called genetic engineering. They also call it biological engineering.
Wow.
How to get microorganisms like bacteria and yeast and mammal cells to replicate and manufacture venom they're not designed to manufacture on their own.
Wow.
Human beings weren't designed to manufacture venom. Venom's toxic to us. Why are we injecting people with the instructions to do that? That's all mRNA technology is. To clear this up, mRNA technology is solely how to get cells in the human body to manufacture venom. That's it.
Whoa.
Y'all can call it anything else you want. You can call the spike proteins if you want to. It doesn't change the fact that they are venom proteins.
This is the hardest part of all of this for me to wrap my head around. And I don't think that it can be attributed to laziness.
No.
There's more to it than that. Why won't they look at it?
Ignorance is not always bliss, people.
No.
Especially when you're going to claim you are a savior of men and women and a leader of men and women to help save their lives. You're not going to go look at the weapon.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that.
Wow.
You're not going to try to understand why it is hundreds of thousands of people around the world have reported to me all of their long hauler COVID symptoms disappeared in 45 minutes to 3 days using nicotine gum.
Interesting.
Have you heard Pierre Corey talk about that? Have you heard McCullough talk about nicotine? Have you heard Paul Merrick talk about it? Have you heard Steve Kirsch talk about it? Have you heard Stephanie Seneff talk about it? Have you heard anybody talk about it? Not a damn soul.
Wow.
Really? Why do you refuse to go look at the weapon and its target? Go look at the damn weapon. The weapon is venom. I don't know how to make this more clear to you. They are envenomating us and they are poisoning us with venoms. And they are calling them respiratory side effects or respiratory illnesses. They are not. The venoms mimic respiratory virus symptoms.
Wow.
There's 4 things they publish that if you put in the human body or in a petri dish with venom, it completely detoxifies the venoms.
And they are?
And they are glutathione.
Glutathione. Let's write these down. Oh my gosh. My doctors are so in the know. I've been doing glutathione patches. I've been doing glutathione nebulizing. Oh my gosh. This is awesome.
And acetylcysteine.
Acetylcysteine. I don't know how to write that. If you know how to write... Oh, do we repeat that? Let's repeat that.
There's 4 things they publish that if you put in the human body or in a petri dish with venom, it completely detoxifies the venoms.
And they are?
And they are glutathione, N-acetylcysteine, vitamin C, and EDTA, which is a heavy metal detoxing agent. It completely inhibits venom. In April of 2020, they said these spike proteins are venoms that target alpha-7 nicotinic acetylcholine receptors, causing all the COVID symptoms. This is a central nervous system disease, not a respiratory illness. This is what they said. They said, you know what's interesting about this alpha-7 nicotinic acetylcholine receptor that these venoms target? They said around the world in April of 2020. Ivermectin reports are coming in that ivermectin is saving people with COVID around the world. They said what's amazing about ivermectin is it's a positive allosteric modulator of alpha-7 nicotinic acetylcholine receptors.
Wow.
It binds to the same receptors nicotine does. And they said this is how it's working. Y'all need to go do nicotine studies. This is what they said. The target is nicotine receptors.
Venoms being used as a treatment or venoms being used as a cure-all are different than venoms being used as a weapon. Which one is it?
It is my belief and my awareness that there is a depopulation agenda in place.
Yes, we have
between
proof.
now and the year 2050 that has been pushed forward and accelerated with this pandemic to get as many people as possible vaccinated. Not only does the vaccine agenda scream depopulation, but the remdesivir hospital protocols, where Anthony Fauci, the NIH, the FDA all said there's only one drug you can treat COVID-19 patients in hospitals with. And if you prescribe anything else, doctors, we're going to take away your license and punish you. There's only one drug, remdesivir, that can be used in every hospitalized COVID-19 patient. What screams depopulation more than this? Why would the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services offer every hospital a 20% add-on bonus if they would just use remdesivir?
Incentivize
on everyone
murder.
60 years old and older?
Unbelievable.
Not 20% add-on bonus for remdesivir. Why do they still to this day offer a 20% add-on bonus for the entire hospital stay if you just code you used remdesivir on every patient 60 years old and older? For 26 years, I've heard that the baby boomers, this aging generation, is going to put a strain on Social Security and Medicare, and they're going to go bankrupt eventually. Do you know what I see? I see CMS and our government willing to bribe hospitals to take the elderly out. To me, it is a culling of the elderly. Nothing screamed murderous intent more than the hospital protocols and the incentivization by CMS on the elderly in America for a drug we knew, we were lied to, was not safe and effective at all.
In the water.
The Ebola trial, remdesivir killed over 54% of its patients. They had to pull it out, and it became the gold standard for COVID. The same one involved in that Ebola trial, Anthony Fauci, makes it the gold standard for COVID. Guys, this is warfare, 100% fifth generation warfare. They deceived. I mean, all the deceit, the lies, hiding information, the censorship on the truthful information. Individuals like us sound the alarm earlier on. It's the devil. Are you kidding me? That level of deceit, that level of destruction, and his minions. Unbelievable. But there's a God. There's a loving one here to assist us and help us. And it goes beyond the scope of our existence here. 10 out of 10 of us ain't going to make it. We have a finite amount of time here. That's where this type of discussion, honing in, figuring things out, doing what we can on behalf of one another is far more important than the American dream. 100%. That's why I'm never going to spend another day of my life sitting on the dang couch watching men in tights throw a dang pigskin around. That's just me. You want to do that? That's fine. I'm not here to condemn anybody. But that's just some of the bread and circus to keep us on a different path than focusing on what truly matters. Truth can hurt, but it doesn't make it any less true. 100%.
You acknowledged it was diluted, aerosolized, and the things that we consume, drink, eat, it was diluted. What about the injections? They're taking it and putting it directly into you.
All right, so it's diluted in water. If you think it's in the air, it's also diluted in the air. You can't not dilute something in water, so you're going to get a diluted form of these venoms, obviously. But when you put it into a syringe, and you can put billions of spike proteins in there and inject it inside of you, that is way more than you're going to get from a glass of water or in your shower. It is injected directly inside of you. Now you have billions of spike proteins, venom peptides now in your body, or you're injected with a billion mRNA, lipid nanoparticle wrapped mRNA instructions for your body to make venom peptides called spike proteins. It is a way more dangerous outcome with the vaccines to introduce spike proteins or venom peptides or the instructions to make it in the form of mRNA, it was always going to be more dangerous injecting it directly inside your body.
People were upset.
Can you help me on the approach here? I mean, it's fine, right? We're not here to twist anyone's arm. People pop in, pop out. Okay? We're all in different places. Is it just not that people just want to move past all this? What do you suppose it is that's keeping people from grasping and finding out? I mean, it's our health we're talking about. Help me be more effective in like reaching through. You could be a key in a huge way. I don't know, maybe through your experience, your story, or more information you're sitting on and connections you've made, or simply the way in communication you've kind of mastered yourself and leading to more, I don't know, a breakthrough in communicating that the others are more open to hearing you out. I welcome you on the podcast. Reach out to me, unmuzzledchat@gmail.com. I'll wait for more people to step forward on this because I've been working on the art of communication and different angles, but clearly I got a lot of work to be had, a lot more levels to accomplish. So I just appreciate some of your thoughts.
Upset with you. People were upset with me after Watch the Water. Venom Boy, they won't talk to you. Semantics, you're not using the right word.
Wow. They
won't look at it because you're the manic retired chiropractor. People are upset with you. They're mad. Big mad at us, both of us. Conspiracy theorists, I mean, it's all over the place.
Interesting.
Why aren't they looking to the people that created the weapon? Why aren't they looking at the weapon itself? If you want to be angry at something or someone,
good questions.
Why is it us? What's the answer to that question with these?
It's easier right here. This is it. Because this is easier for us. It's harder to stand out and get out of line right here. That's what it is. It's easier to believe a comforting lie over a unpleasant truth. Well, what's the outcome here? No good. The outcome here could lead to freedom, health, resilience, a life worth living. Holy smokes. This is so good. I love this discussion. I wish I was there.
MDs. These people, you all know who I'm talking about, have huge tours, patting themselves on the back, consuming all types of alcohol, dance parties, giving away awards to each other, recognizing each other, patting each other on the back, but yet refuse to look at the weapon. What victory is it that they're celebrating exactly?
Yeah. I don't see it. I actually say this all the time. These individuals who are reluctant to look, they must have started speaking out for a different reason than I did.
Why are the masses looking at these people as the trusted group of healthcare providers, the heroes?
Grifters.
I have no idea. I really have no idea. As this year has gone on, I lose more and more faith in the individuals that appeared, wanted me to be a part of helping save humanity with them. As more now, it's unfortunate, but the celebrityism or the platforms they've grown or the financial rewards of their businesses, I have no idea. I do not know why on earth a healthcare professional of any kind, I don't care what your licensing is, why it is you refuse to go look at this information.
What motivates me, I think, is probably the same that motivates you. None of this can be built by men. This message can't be delivered by a retired chiropractor and a former bounty hunter and rapper who complains and yells and screams on the internet. This is 100% divine. This is 100% supernatural. It's 100% God. So I don't care what these other people, these doctors, these heroes, I don't care what motivates them. I don't care why they won't look. I just want to thank you for your courage and for your bravery.
I will relentlessly attempt to try to make sense of your symptoms, your illness, your diseases being perpetrated intentionally around the world.
Wow.
And help to disclose to you those things found in nature that God put on this earth to save you. Because because he knew there would be evil men in this world to try to hurt us and to drive our families apart.
Wow.
And here they are.
And here they are.
Thank you.
That just touched my heart. Wow. Wow, that's good. I don't know if there's going to be any. I'm so grateful. What benefit? Think about it. They just called out the supposed heroes, right? The grifters. Like, what is their motive? What are they doing? What solutions are they actually providing us? It's interesting because doctor artists every day, more and more that come across this information are reporting great breakthroughs, honing in on this from these tests, from actual, like, I know people in my personal life that started onboarding pure forms of nicotine, and there's great breakthroughs, cognitive breakthroughs, like deletion of those long hauler symptoms where it's neurological, it's lethargic, they're not sleeping that great. But that's the thing. We're forever, once again, dogs chasing its tail, trying to address personal symptoms. We're not really getting to the source of these issues. Big institutions, governments, the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum, UN, all these institutions have been onboarded to this like globalist agenda. It's so clear. I know when you haven't done your own research, it's just too easy for this to happen and rule yourself. Oh, you're just conspiracy. The weaponization of words, kind of mock or laugh at the individual over here to your own to our own detriment. I've been there. It's like I'm more and more excited every day when someone even comes at me from a whole different belief, has other information. It's like, oh, wow. And you actually have sources to just check myself and absorb what they have to say. Validate everything. Now, in the end, after review, I may agree to disagree on some things, and that's okay. Let's actually back out of this. Folks, go to stupeters.com. I'm not sure if I'm going to dive into the original one or not because they went over a lot of the data here, but it's just simple. stupeters.com. You can click on the documentaries over here, come to Watch Water, you pop in your email, boom, and you can watch the original. Maybe we'll go over that here in the future. We will see. But that's another, I believe it's only an hour long. Highly, highly recommend it. Okay, we're about to hit 2 hours. Yeah, why don't we play this bombshell episode with Dr. Brian Ardis after this conference. This episode really opens. It's mind-blowing. Let's play this.
The reason why they use DNA from the cells of other humans and other animals in vaccines is to trigger an autoimmune reaction. Now I'm going to set this up for everybody.
Oh, I didn't even bring it to this screen. I apologize. My gosh, I'm so human.
The reason why they use DNA from the cells of other humans and other animals in vaccines is to trigger an autoimmune reaction. Now I'm going to set this up for everybody.
I feel sick.
This is to make you aware. This is the autoimmune industry complex. Inject people without them asking or knowing DNA from other species and other humans into their body. You will wreck their immune system and create autoimmune diseases for life. Do you want to know how I know it?
No.
Real simply. Have you ever heard of a person getting an organ transplant?
Sure.
Yes.
Name an organ that they like to transplant.
Kidneys.
Kidneys are a good one. Yep. Kidneys, liver, hearts, right? You get all these, right? Lungs for pulmonary fibrosis. They have lots of organs they do transplants from. When a person you've ever known gets an organ transplant, that organ is coming from another human.
Yeah.
So they're finding someone who died or has sacrificed their own organ, and they're going to put that organ inside of your body. Let's give the kidney, for example. When they do that and they wake you up from the surgery, they then immediately prescribe to you 10 to 15 drugs for life that are called anti-rejection drugs.
Okay.
Your immune system's going to reject the organ and kill it. Why? Your immune system knows it ain't yours.
Foreign,
wow.
So it's going to go attack it. After it creates antibodies that totally destroy that organ, if you weren't on those drugs, that organ that you just received from somebody else has the DNA structure of kidneys. Guess what happens after it gets done attacking that kidney? It's going to be, those antibodies are floating around your body looking for what?
Kidneys.
Kidney cells, kidney tissue. They are going to then start attacking your kidneys, and you will develop autoimmunity of your kidneys, chronic kidney failure, and you will be on dialysis for life.
Jeez.
The body, we know, will reject and destroy any tissue that's foreign that isn't your DNA. This is a great design by God, by the way. Don't put other DNA in your body.
Right.
So now you put Cocker Spaniel DNA inside of a 6-month-old. You put hepatitis B inside of a 12-hour-old baby.
Yeah.
And you set them up for autoimmune diseases lifelong. This is why you get juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, juvenile diabetes, SIDS. Why did you get all these conditions of autism? This is
so
what
many
doing.
more diseases malfunction. Like autoimmune diseases are something that you just don't hear about now. It's like everybody, it's common. You're everywhere.
Oh, everybody in the audiences, have you ever wondered why it is so many children and adults are allergic to eggs? 7 out of the 9 flu vaccines have what's called ovalbumin, or by name egg protein. Well, I looked that up. I wanted the world to see, why is there egg white in every one of these flu vaccines? Egg whites.
In the flu vaccine.
In the flu vaccine, 7 of the 9. So I looked it up. I wanted to know what eggs
It's
did
not
this come
angel
from.
food cake.
I want to know what eggs, what egg whites from what animals are inside these flu vaccines. All right, so for the first 70 years of vaccine production, they were actually cultured in chicken eggs. They would actually inject. Judy Mikovits used to make them, vaccines at the NIH, injecting the substrate into chicken eggs to culture whatever it is they're trying to grow, that they then put in a syringe and inject inside of you. Any chicken egg protein they inject inside of you as a baby, you will develop lifelong egg allergies to.
Unbelievable.
Just so you know, in the last 20 years, it's no longer chicken eggs.
What is it?
It's snake eggs.
Oh, you're kidding.
90% of all vaccines are manufactured in China, and look it up. There's documentaries about this all over. They are called Chinese snake villages, and they just culture snake eggs for the pharmaceutical giants in China to manufacture 90% of all of our vaccines that we receive in America.
90%.
What is the deal with snakes?
So chicken DNA, snake DNA. Do you want to know why there's so much autoimmunity, so many actual disease states, chronic illnesses in Americans? You're injecting foreign DNA that doesn't belong to you into you. And as long as you stay ignorant and blissfully happy to follow blindly the faith of your white coat authority figures who don't know anything either.
Yep.
These little booklets will be very powerful. And I want everybody buying them and then giving them to their MDs after they can't answer your questions because none of them have a clue.
Can we get you back on when the book comes out?
You better believe
we
it.
cover this because
we're going to do it for all vaccines. The flu one's going to be first.
I don't want to do any more interviews today. I'm done.
We
I'm
don't run a national weeks of it, and it's, everywhere you go, every billboard, Walgreens, CVS, get your flu shot.
I'm going to buy one of these books for Travis Kelce and send him a box
Yeah,
of
no
them.
kidding.
Can I say one other thing before we go?
Of course.
I can't be more sick and disturbed than I am now, so go ahead.
So my presentation here a few minutes ago was totally different than anything I've done. I decided to show the world who was the real target of the pandemic called COVID. So I put it up. The American Diabetes Association just published that 40% of all COVID-19 deaths in America were in diabetics only. That's the largest percentage of anybody who died from COVID are diabetics worldwide. So I put up on the screen, the American Diabetes Association admits that 40% of all COVID deaths came from diabetics.
Good data.
All right, so let's introduce you to American Diabetes Association's mission statement and how long they've been around.
How long?
Since 1939 is when they were founded. And their mission statement is, we provide research to manage, cure, and prevent diabetes. That's their mission statement. So I went like this. How are they doing after 84 years?
Terrible.
Where were we at in 1939?
So we just finished 4 years, and almost half everybody that died were diabetics in America. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So how are they doing with their prevention and cure of diabetes? They've been researching for 84 years. I put up on the screen a chart that the American Diabetes Association shows that in 1980, 41 years later, after that organization was set up and collecting donations and research for diabetes to cure it and prevent it, I showed in 2010 they published on a bar graph that there was 5.5 million Americans with diabetes in 1980.
How many?
There was 5.5 million Americans with diabetes in 1980.
Okay.
They show it all the way to 2010. 2010, it's 21 million Americans are diabetics. And then I showed, what is it right now in 2023? It's actually 38.4 million now.
Wow.
That's almost double in 13 years.
Yeah.
The whole chart
How is this
so I showed the numbers and how
organization
I
still
said,
standing?
this is an organization committed for 84 years to prevent and cure diabetes. Are they working? Are they figuring it out?
No.
And then I showed that the
Not
World Health
another
Organization
penny.
just published that in the next 27 years, they expect 1.31 billion people on Earth to be diabetic, which these people didn't know it, and y'all don't either. Right now, there's only 500 million.
How much money are they
They
getting?
expect 2.5 times that in the next 27 years. So I went like this. All right, so you're an organization. For 84 years, you've been researching and creating products to cure and prevent diabetes. How well are they doing after 84 years? And I wanted to know, since 2010 to now,
Just
2023,
2010.
how much money has been donated to the American Diabetes Association
That's a great
to
question.
suck at curing diabetes? That's exactly what I put on the screen.
Yep.
How much have they been
Arguably, not just suck, actually cause more of the issue.
given to suck 100% at preventing COVID or preventing diabetes? So I put up every single Form 990 from the IRS, which they declare all revenue given to the American Diabetes Association every year since 2010. And I showed every single one of them and highlighted in red. Look at the red square. This is the amount of money donated every year. 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And then I showed the total.
And?
The total is $2.5 billion has given to the American Diabetes Association.
Oh my God.
In the same time frame, they have doubled the amount of diabetes in this country.
You know, there's not a lot of, you can be an NFL coach,
the world,
not win a game every year, and keep getting raises.
No. And then I showed them.
Yeah.
The American Diabetes in 1939 said they're committed to preventing and curing diabetes. How close are they? And I put up the American Diabetes Association's website, and it says, what is a cause of diabetes and a cure? It actually says, there is no known cure for diabetes.
What? 84 years, billions of dollars, even just since 2010, and that's their stance. I'd venture to say they're taking those funds and causing it. We're funding these groups that are magnifying these issues. How could it not be? Because there's actual doctors out there that are, you're not supposed to say cure, but the fruits of their protocols, what they're implementing, are in fact reversing these issues. Unbelievable. How are we not all using our own discernment, critical thinking skills, and seeing more clearly what is taking place? How have I been so slow to seeing the truth?
Period. I showed them the world. I said, wait a minute. We've been giving this organization for 84
wait a
years
minute.
billions of dollars to solve one problem. And then I said on the screen, how many of you do you think would be paid by your employer for 84 years to solve a problem specific to your audiences and customer base, and you never came up with a solution for 84 years?
You'd
Would
be
you still
done.
have a job?
No way.
And they all said, you would be fired. That was the next thing on the screen.
absolutely.
Nope, you would be fired. You wouldn't have a job. So this is when I showed them how much money they've been given. Then I showed a list. Currently, the medical profession actually has a list of all incurable diseases they know of. And on that list is cancer. So my last part of this presentation was, well, if cancer is still not curable, how long has the American Cancer Society been investing donations and research to look for a cure for
Not
cancer?
even funny.
They started in 1913.
Wow.
Really?
And then I showed just the last 3 years worth of donations to the American Cancer Society, who publishes There Is No Cure for Cancer. I just showed them. It is $4.5 billion have been donated in the last 3 years alone to a cancer
That's
organization
ridiculous.
who has no effing clue yet how to solve the problem. They've created an organization to
Not
research.
another
So I set up on
penny.
the screen, and everybody watching at home, please, for the love of God, stop giving money to the American Cancer Society, American Diabetes Association, any medical foundation. There is no known published cures of any of them, and we're giving them billions of dollars, and they are continuing to allow the problem they're professing to be looking for a fix for. They're not interested in that. So I put it on the screen. You want to donate your money to somebody? Donate to the Healing for the Ages group. That's 4 doctors who in 2024 will start doing research studies and proving to you we can reverse diabetes and cancer.
Proving.
And it's not going to cost billions of dollars. You just tell all your corporations and yourself, you want to make donations? Go to this donate button at healingfortheages.com. We, in January, are all meeting in Arizona to discuss the research studies we're going to do in preparation for our September conference. And we're going to bring those people up that we help cure and reverse diabetes, cancer, autoimmune disease,
There
you
we
name it.
go.
Watch. We need funding. They do not need funding.
Yes.
Right.
My last slide was Albert Einstein said, doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result is insanity.
Yep.
It's insane to give these companies any more donations or money when in 84 years and 113 years later, there's zero solutions for it.
Such a great point. Okay, so you go to healingfortheages.com, donate there.
There's a donate button at the top.
If
Just
you
donate.
if you want to learn more about the flu shot, go to
TheDrArtistShow.com.
The
Artistshow.
DrArtistShow.com. DrArtistShow.com.
We'll put the links to that down below, as well as a link to your speech up today.
So much
The
fun.
best.
We learned a ton.
The best.
Did you learn anything?
Thank you
Yes.
so much. Oh, always. Thank you.
So grateful for Dr. Artist Stu Peters, everything we went over here today. Can we ask ourselves, could this information, in fact, bless lives, lead to alleviating all these intentional side effects or unintentional, whatever, irrelevant, when it's negatively impacting our health? What's crucial is we get to the bottom of those issues and breathe health back into our lives. So to me, absolutely 100%. If it spoke to you at all, please smash that like button. Share. Because this, I do believe, would lead to saving lives. What's more important that we could get engaged in today than blessing our dear brothers and sisters in this world around us? Love you, appreciate you taking these calls to action seriously and all your support. Oh, what a hit. Funky music, I suppose. All right, that being said, Jesus is calling. Let's answer this call. Try to breathe some light into our day. December 13th states, take the time to be holy. The word holy does not mean goody-goody. It means set apart for sacred use. It's nice to just take pause sometimes. that is what these quiet moments in my presence are accomplishing with you. I could testify to that being true. As you focus your mind and heart on me, you are being transformed, recreated into the one I designed you to be. This process requires blocks of time set aside for communication with me. The benefit of this practice are limitless. Emotional and physical healing, I can testify to that, are enhanced by your soaking in the light of my presence. You experience a nearness to me that strengthens your faith and fills you with peace. I'll add strength, clarity, courage, all the things we need so badly in this world. You have, why am I putting words in there? You open yourself up to receiving the many blessings that I have prepared for you. You become a cleansed temple of my Holy Spirit, who is able to do in and through you immeasurably more than you ask or imagine. The gifts waiting for you truly could be nameless, like unimaginable. These are just some of the benefits of being still in my presence. 4 biblical references here. I challenge you to check them out. We got 2 Thessalonians 1:10, Psalm 27:4, 1 Corinthians 6:19, and Ephesians 3:20. Such a great book. It's a great book because it keeps me more so honest and checking out this daily, which gets me in the true roadmap for our life. So I challenge you, check out those biblical scriptures. I appreciate you being willing and open to new information. I even learned more today, and I got more research to be had. I hope that triggered something within you to check out, because at the end of the day, we just want to acknowledge and hone in on what is negatively impacting our health to breathe light back into our lives. Evil clearly is fighting tooth and nail to diminish us. Why else the censorship? Why can't I post anything regarding this type of information on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram? We've now successfully been censored on all of those. Why? Why are they fighting so hard to keep this information? They are the misinformationists. They themselves are fulfilling evil's bidding. Full stop. We got enough testimonies on people getting into this type of information and benefiting them, not causing harm. So they are causing harm by keeping that information from us. Egregious harm. So they're deceitful with their under the guise of good, helping misinformation. That's deceitful. They are tyrannical. They are impeding on our free agency, which isn't free, because Jesus and the sacrifice he had to make, all the soldiers and service members that laid down their lives, their freedoms, all sorts of things to give us what we have today. And yes, we have a lot of blessings, a lot of freedoms, but we are not free in this country right now. But simply due to the infringement on our free speech, we're not a free people with this level of tyranny. Full stop, period. The end. So why are we not even valuing our freedom or acknowledging we're not free? That is a great. We just need more people on free speech platforms. Please bring them over to Rumble. Start grabbing people's phones. Download the app. Have them create the thing. Click subscribe to Unmuzzled Chat. That would be a great blessing. Let's break 2,000 finally. Can we? Can we break that before the new year? Please help us. In doing this, obviously, we could save lives together. I know that to be true, even if we're getting some information wrong. Through doing that, wouldn't that lead to us getting it more so right? Help us. Help others. God bless you. our loving creator God. Bless you this wonderful day. I can't wait to get back on and share some more information with you. Appreciate all your support. Let's smash that like button and just do what we can. What a beautiful opportunity we have this day. Until next time, folks, take care.